I wonder, can you talk to me a little bit about, you use oils. Do you use linen?
I do use linen. And the linen rides on Upper Canada structures.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, it's actually a belief that if you're making art, you need to have good materials.
Yes.
And I think it's an important thing. And I do look at old masters. That's where I get my style pointers and so forth. And the use of good pigments, good canvas, good structures, and paying attention to the craft that all of those things involve is important to me.
That's wonderful. What is it about linen that's appealing to you compared to, say, good quality canvas or cotton?
Well, I've painted on cotton plenty of times, but there's some question about the longevity of cotton with polymer coatings on it.
Yeah.
And some people think that in 100 years, maybe longer, who knows, that the paint on top of acrylics will delaminate. And I just decided if I'm going to spend my life doing these things, I'd like for the paintings to last to the extent that they can. I hope the bad ones don't last, but the good ones I want to last.
Wonderful. Well, yeah, you wouldn't know how to sort the bad from the good. I mean, that's in the eye of the viewer sometimes, too, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm not really to say I do the best I can on each canvas, and what happens after that.
It's up to whoever has it or sees it. I have a conservator friend here who's he's tops in his profession, and he's been at it for many, many years. And he tells me that you prepare the ground. That is, you prepare your glue sizing, if that's what you're going to do, and you put on the gesso and get that right. He says you've got to have all that stuff properly done, because in time he's had to repair enough very valuable paintings where they've had to remove the canvas altogether. It was no good anymore. And the paint layer, if it's properly supported and properly handled, the paint layer will just come right off, and you can put it onto a fresh linen or under support surface and have a painting that's going to last a few hundred more years.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so far as we know, I think 400 years is what oil paintings will do, and likely to go further than that, because the technology now to conserve those things is so much more than it has been in the history of art. It's amazing what they can do.
Yeah, that's just wonderful. Well, what about in your work, in your relationship with your sitter, like a person? I'll talk about people. I know you do animals too, beautiful horses, dogs, and so on. But talking about the people would seem to be most of what your work is. Maybe I'm making an assumption there.
No, that's correct. I think
you get a relationship. I noticed one of a young man who's in his, early 20s or late teens, and some of elders who are really important people, perhaps, and some maybe not so important that think they are, and so you've got this thing going back and forth when you're doing a portrait, right, between who you are and who they are, and to some extent, are they putting on an act or not for the camera? How do you deal with all that?
The trick to getting them to sort of reveal themselves, which is to say relax and not pay attention to me or the camera or anything else that's going on, is to make them sit there for a long time, because nobody can hold up the false smiles or whatever. And so you after a couple hundred exposures, whether I actually use those things or not, people relax and they become themselves.
Okay, that's something.
The business of capturing somebody, by the way, I suppose one could say that it's a question of accuracy.
Yes.
That we all wear ourselves on our faces.
Sure.
So that if you're really accurate with the painting, then you get them in some fashion.
Yeah, and that makes a message for the future. of their relatives or their, far distant, that says as much or more than a bunch of words could do.
Yeah.
About this person.
I think so, but you only have them in an instant. There are some people who are very animated, lively types, and you get them in a still moment, and the animation's not there. But
it's hard to get them both together.
yeah, that's right. They have to be still.